Business travel has taken me to 85 countries, and that's over a period of 30 years. But one of the things I've learned is that a sense of humor in the right place, the right time, with the right group of people is a masterful business communication skill. And the best example I've got of this is 12 years ago, and it started off with my boss walking into my office saying, "Hey, Davey, have I got the opportunity for you?" He was volunteering me to go down to South America to do an unannounced safety audit of a chemical factory, of a chemical plant, and I didn't speak a word of Spanish. So 6 weeks after being volunteered, picture me in a restaurant in South America, and I'm there with the plant manager, the factory manager, Carlos, and his staff. And just imagine the tension that's in the air. You know, those polite, nervous conversations, sticky handshakes. It's just really, really uncomfortable. I'm sure you can all relate to it. But as the appetizer is being served, Carlos looks at me and he says, "So Dave, would you like to try our local drink?" Carlos, I'm an Irishman, I would love to try your local drink. So Carlos called the waiter over, and the waiter put an empty glass in front of me, and he squeezed fresh lemons into it, put what seemed like an awful lot of sugar, and then topped it up and up and up and up with crystal clear alcohol. It was like the best lemonade I had ever tasted. I got about halfway down my glass, and whoa, this stuff was hitting me hard. And I decided I need to slow down, so I looked at the waiter. Excuse me, could I have a straw, please?" And the waiter scowled, and then Carlos, with a big smile on his face, he says, "Dave, you've got to learn to speak Spanish. I think you just ordered drugs." But the great thing was, like you've done here today, is everybody at that table laughed, and immediately I could feel the tension drop down a notch. So now let's fast forward, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm getting ready to do my opening presentation to let the factory workers know what the scope of my safety audit was going to be. So it's in a big conference room, about 100 people, and you could again feel the tension in there. They were nervous about a guy from corporate coming down to poke his nose into their business. But before I started, Carlos, he stopped me and he said, "So Dave, what did you think of our local drink?" I said, "Carlos, by the end of the night, I was speaking fluent Spanish." And I went back to my hotel. There was a dog barking in the distance. I could also understand what she was saying. Again, everybody in the conference room laughed, and I could feel that tension drop down a huge notch. So it progressed from there. We just had this lightheartedness and playfulness going, and it felt really good. And towards the end of my audit, I had to sit down with a safety engineer, a brilliant young woman called Monica. And Monica, she was pretty, she was young. She also happened to be 3 months pregnant. And I'm sitting down with her, and I'm explaining all the big laundry list of findings that I had. And I got to the end of it, and suddenly Monica stood up. And she held her stomach, and she went, oh, my baby. Oh my baby. And I'm going, "Monica, what's wrong? Do I need to get towels, boiling water? What's wrong with you? Who do I need to call?" And with this little impish smile on her face, she says, "Mr. Hill, my baby would really like it if you could group those findings so we don't look so bad." She was negotiating with me with humor. And I said to Monica, "It makes no difference to me whether it's a list or whether we group them into logical groups. And the main thing is that you get them done." But then let's take a few more steps, and now I'm on the last day of my audit. And I'm out in an area where toxic chemicals are stored. And I'm there with the instrumentation manager, and his name is Manuel. And he's stressed. I've been finding that some of his critical safety instrumentation, it's either not working or it's not being tested. And I walk out to an area, and there's a dead bird on the ground. I take out my clipboard and I start taking notes. And I can feel him peering over my shoulder, trying to read what I'm writing. And he goes, so what's wrong now, Mr. Hill? And I said, your toxic gas detector, it appears to be broken. And then for some reason he spoke to me in Spanish, idioto loco. And then he playfully punched me in the arm and he pointed at the bird and he said, toxic gas detector, not broken, sleeping. I look back on this audit and it should have been high conflict, high anxiety, but the playfulness that came into it, I look back at it now and I go, they opened up to me, we collaborated, and we built really good friendships. And American President Ike D. Eisenhower, he nailed this on the head when he said, a sense of humor is a part of the art of leadership, of getting along with people, and of getting things done. That's my story.